Right, we're going to quickly finish off this checkbox selection area, and we're going to get the rest of our form in. So you can see in the last one we had a name in this we had a checkbox here, and the name of this checkbox was mail underscore and then mail 0, 1, 2, 3, depending on how many times this loop continued. And this plus plus is really the same as mail count equals mail count plus 1. So you're just adding a number onto, let me just show you, adding a number onto this mail count here that we set up to start with. We're going to use this name count eventually as well, so that's the reason we set that to 0. Okay, so coming along, we've included the last name, blah blah blah, all of that old stuff. And then what we're going to do is, in brackets, we're going to create just a concatenation again of the email address. So we can see that it's really getting to starting to get easy to just input some dynamic information into this here. Okay, so we've done that. The next thing we need is a hidden field. So I'm going to bring this down a bit. We're going to need an input type, and that's going to be hidden, so no one's going to be able to see this, but it will hold a value. The name of this, and basically what we're doing here is we're copying the exact same structure here, but we're saying name underscore, and then in that we're just going to concatenate name count plus plus. Okay, so we're doing the same thing as here, mail count and name count plus plus. And if you're not sure why we're doing this at the moment, keep following the tutorial and you will pick it up a bit later on. So we've got that, and then after this we need to set a value, and this is going to be the first name of the user. You can include the second name as well, feel free to. I'm just going to be including the first name, because in the email we're eventually just going to be addressing them by their first name, so to Alex, and then the text that we need to send via email to each person. So this, we're just going to do 2 dots, two inverted commas, 2 speech marks, 2 dots, and in the middle of this it's going to be get row, and in here it's going to be first name. And then if you really want to, feel free to just do another dot and get row and then the last name as well. For now we're just dealing with the first name. So if I come back onto here and refresh, see that nothing at all has changed, but if we view the page source, you can see that we've got our name 0 equals Alex, and that's coming from our mail 0 Alex Heeden. That's my first name there. And then we have our second checkbox, which is mail 1, because it goes from 0 to 1, and the value of the email address is that, and the name 1, so matching mail 1, the value is Alexander. So we've got a unique name here attached to a unique email address, and that can be processed in the next step. So obviously we need, as well as this, and outside our loop this time, because if we're creating our text area to type our message in, inside our loop we're going to have a duplicated text area. So down here in our outside our loop, so outside of this bracket here, I'm going to say text area, and then I'm going to end my text area, and I'm going to say the name of this is message. And that's really just about all I need. If you want to add any text in here, that's quite welcome to. That's just going to put that there. I'm just going to create a bit more user friendly here, and then a paragraph break after our text area, so we have something looking like that. Let's just create a paragraph break here to separate that out a bit. Okay, so we've got our message here that we can type to everyone. And then we're going to what do we need to do? Yeah, our submit button. How could I forget? That's very important. We have input type equals submit. The name of this is going to be submit, and the value is just going to be send. And this is obviously going to process our form through, like we specified up here, to send.php, which is here. So let's refresh, and we've got our send button there. So at the moment we can type our message in here. So hello everyone. And we can click send, and eventually this will process it against each value that is checked. So every value that is checked, we're submitting through. Our message is going to be included in our email, and then obviously this button here submits all the data on the page. So to get started on our send.php page, first of all, obviously we've required our connect. We need to connect. Now, if you followed along from my other email tutorial, you know that we need to change the php.ini SMTP line, and to do this we just use the ini set or ini, whatever you want to call it, ini set command, and the line value is SMTP. And now here you need to put your mail host. So whatever your mail host that you're using is to relay emails. Mine is mailhost.sheffield.ac.uk because I am relaying emails from sort of my local how can I say, network here. I'm on a local network, so I'm allowed to use this mail host here from inside the university. Okay, so we also need to set up a standard mail header, and this is going to say who the email is from eventually when we use our mail function that looks a bit like that. So the standard header that I'm just going to say from, and this is going to be admin@phpacademy.com. I don't own this domain, but I'm just using this as an example. Okay, so the next thing to do is get the data. So we're getting the data from the last page. We're getting the data from the database first of all. But what we need to do is we need to first of all, in fact, I'll tell you what, we can disregard this step. Just completely ignore that. That is another way around it. What we're going to do is we're going to loop through for every box that has been checked here, and then we're going to process the specific information about each box that has been ticked. So we're going to loop through, and I'm going to be using a for loop here, and this is the block of code that I'm going to be executing for my for loop, and my condition I'm going to leave till the next part of the tutorial because I'm nearly at the end. Okay, so in the next tutorial we'll be completing this for loop, and this will just process all the data that we've submitted only for the checkboxes that we've selected. Okay, so join me in the next part to do that. Thanks for watching.